today. So as was mentioned, we're going to talk a little bit about what we're doing to prepare your Magento Commerce on Cloud site for the holiday season utilizing New Relic. So, as was mentioned, my name is Billy Gilbert. I'm a senior software engineer here at Adobe. I have almost 15 years of development experience, the vast majority of which has been in the commerce space. So I actually started my career in the point of sale industry, and I did that for about 10 years. And then most recently, I've been here at Adobe for 3 years with the cloud team, a little over 3 years. During that time, on top of my technical responsibilities, I've worked on the cloud course. I've also worked on the test as well. And then I've been fortunate enough to travel around and talk that class to many folks out there. So next up, I'd like to introduce you to my hopefully quiet and respectful co-presenters. This is sort of a humorous way of asking for apologies in advance should any of them bark, but also give you the opportunity to put some faces and names to those noises. All right, so we're gonna, like I said, talk about the recent improvements within New Relic that we've done for Magento Commerce on Cloud. So I'll give sort of a brief introduction on what we're gonna talk about, what those advancements are, and then we'll do a little bit of a deep dive into each of those spaces. So first we'll talk about what we're doing with logs with the New Relic. We'll dive a little bit deeper into managed alerts, and then I will be happy to take any questions you all may have about the topics today, or even just general cloud topics if you'd like to discuss. So the recent improvements we've made to our New Relic configuration have been in the end to prepare everyone for the holidays. The goal is for all of us, you as our clients, but also us as your support team, to be able to better understand the health of your site. These goals have also been to give us more robust tooling to triage site issues. Specifically with the log data, it's giving us the ability to combine data from multiple sources. So things like combining log information with existing New Relic infrastructure metrics, for example. And then we've also built out a pre-built alert system. The goal is to help you quickly understand if there's issues with your sites. And then finally, with those alerts, we provided runbooks to give you steps for troubleshooting that are going to be specific to those issues. So as I mentioned, first up, we'll discuss logs. So I am incredibly happy to say that we finally have aggregated logs available to our customers. This is one of the things that, as I've been out at the field in conferences or trainings, that I have just constantly heard people say they want. So we're very, very happy to be providing that now. So what we're looking at here is the New Relic's UI, that's the New Relic Logs UI within New Relic 1. So to access this from within New Relic 1 after you've logged in, there's going to be a logs button at the top of your screen. Just go ahead and click on that and you'll land on this screen. Now there's a few different ways to access your logs. This particular screen is going to be best for getting sort of a timeline or a story of your site. It has some basic filtering, but really it's best for sequential logs. And just to highlight here, we're seeing some access logs. We're also seeing some Cdn logs and some cron logs as well. So what logs are available? So these largely break into 3 different categories. So the first category is going to be your system and your service specific logs. And paths will vary, but these are the ones that are going to typically be in your /var/log from the root of the system. These are going to be logs like your MySQL slow query log, access logs, but it could even be other things like Zookeeper and Nuncius. The next category is going to be your application log. So these are going to be in the var log directory underneath your Magento application root. So these are going to be things like your Magento logs, so anything specific to Magento, as well as any third-party extension logs. Now, one of the neat things about this particular set of logs is that as opposed to the system logs where we've selected a set of logs to expose, these application logs, anything logged to that directory is going to flow into New Relic. So you can add any system to write logs to that directory, and it's going to flow up to New Relic. And then the final category is going to be our Cdn logs. So this is going to be anything that goes through Fastly. So all of your requests and all of those details that come with it. But one of the things that's really great as well is this is going to give you your WAF, your web application firewall details. So this way, if you're in the development phase and you have a request that's getting blocked through the New Relic WAF, you can actually go and look that up within New Relic and get the specifics about why that actual request was blocked. Now, my personal favorite tool to review logs is actually going to be the Data Explorer within New Relic 1. So this is going to be accessed from within New Relic 1, the upper right of your screen. Now, the reason that I prefer this screen is that this gives you a lot more control as a developer to perform SQL-like queries. So New Relic actually has their own query language. They call it NERQL, New Relic Query Language. So on this screen, you can see that I've performed some aggregation around my Fastly logs, right? And this is what I typically call a DDoS detector. So I'm aggregating all of my requests by IP address and also user agent. So this is a really great query to be able to see things like, am I getting malicious traffic spikes from a specific region, or do I have a lot of bots accessing my site? And then of course, I can use that information to block requests or what have you through Fastly. Now, the next thing I want to talk about with logs is the ability to create dashboards. So if you look in the bottom right of this screen, you'll notice there's an Add to Dashboard button. So what that's going to do is that's going to take any query that I create here, and that can be a table of aggregated results such as this, or it could be some type of chart, or even just a table, right? So just a find all logs that are access or authentication issues. And then I can take that and I can add that to a dashboard. So when I press that, you're going to see a little widget pop up like this, and it's going to basically need 2 bits of information. So the first name is the first bit is what are we calling this? So that's the widget title. In this case, I've called it traffic by IP. And then also, which dashboard am I going to apply it to? So in this particular project, I didn't actually have any dashboards created already. So I made one called site traffic. But if I had additional dashboards, I could select those from the list. And then from there, you're going to get your new dashboard. So in this case, you're seeing, the traffic by IP widget that I've created here in the upper left. But I've also, just for demo's sake, added a few additional widgets. So in this case, just an actual request by minute there in the upper right. But then again, to show the power of what we can do with the New Relic, I've added a CPU utilization chart to the bottom as well. And the reason being is, then we can actually start to see things like how spikes in traffic, particularly from potentially malicious actors, how that's actually impacting our site. So this way we can actually start to combine data from various sources and gain really great insights about the health of our sites. Now, there's one other really neat piece of functionality within New Relic Logs that I'd like to highlight here. So if you look in the bottom right of this screen, you're going to notice that I have a Manage Parsing link highlighted here. And I just want to take one moment to pause and say, I realize I'm showing a lot of very small screenshots. I'll be happy to share these slides over Twitter, and I'll put up all of my information there at the end so that those can be obtained. But again, so in the bottom right, we're seeing this Manage Parsing icon highlighted there. Now, if I go ahead and press that, what that's going to do is that's going to give me the ability to create specific expressions that will extract data in a structured format into customized fields. And what that's going to allow us to do is that's going to allow us to do some much more powerful aggregation. One of the problems that we have with the data coming from the system is that those are in the rsyslog format, and we're very structured into what format we can send data in. So with this, we can parse it out and get a much greater ability to perform aggregation, and again, put those aggregated queries onto dashboards and gain greater insight. So again, another very busy screen, but this is the result of the Manage Parsing screen. I tried to highlight just the end result here, but if you sort of look in the middle of the screen, right about here, there's a long regular expression that's actually parsing the PHP access log, and then putting those into customized fields. So again, a really great tool to be able to get your data into a structured format where you can do much, much more powerful aggregation and querying around. So to kind of conclude logs, Fastly logs, those are going to be available on all projects. For the time being, system and application logs are not available for starter projects. And then just kind of bullet points on what to remember within New Relic. So that Logs UI, that's great for a timeline of your site or getting a sequential view. That Data Explorer is going to be very, very powerful for aggregation, specifically with log data, but really with anything within New Relic. Dashboards are going to be really great for getting a quick overall view of your site health, but also creating, drill down dashboards to where you can get deeper information on maybe those insights you've gained within, your broader dashboards. And then finally, using that additional parsing to give you greater aggregation and querying capabilities. So next up, this is what I'm very excited about. So this is what we're calling managed alerts. Now, managed alerts are New Relic alerts that we have rolled out to all of our customers' accounts. These are going to monitor metrics that we've taken our years of cloud knowledge and understanding for our customers, and we've defined these KPIs, these key performance indicators of ensuring your site is healthy and available. So these are going to be AppDex, which is your measurement of really site speed at sort of at a high level. But really, it's how happy the people who are browsing your site are with their page load response times, CPU utilization, memory utilization, disk space, and then PHP error rates. Now, all of these except for the PHP error rates are going to have a warning and a critical threshold. We use a healthcare analogy a lot when we're discussing these alerts. So if you're thinking the warning might be something like you need to take a little medicine and resolve the issue, but you can get under control over time. It's not necessarily greatly impacting your day-to-day, but if you don't take care of it, it could become a big issue. Now, the critical threshold is sort of the opposite, right? The critical threshold is you need immediate action now to restore the health of your site. So those are sort of the breakdowns of the warning and critical thresholds. While they have different rates, we also track them over different times as well. And we'll talk about those a little bit later. I've got a table with those thresholds. And then along with these alerts, we've created runbooks. So these runbooks are going to give you specific steps to help you troubleshoot these issues. And they're all specific to the particular alert. So for instance, we have a warning runbook for CPU and we have a critical runbook for CPU. And both of those, give very specific steps to resolve the issue, but not only to resolve the issue, but also, when you might need to, reach out to our support team to bring them into the issue, or contact your account manager, potentially consider upsizing if that's, if this looks like it's going to be a permanent change in the performance of your site. Now, the big key with alerts is that notification channels must be created. One of my favorite things about the New Relic alert system is that every alert triggered will create an incident. And we'll talk about those a little bit later, but basically an incident within New Relic gives you a hyper-specific view of the issue at that time. So for instance, if you have an alert that triggers at, let's say, 9:54 a.m., if you were to click that incident that you would receive through your notification channel, you're going to go right to 9:54 a.m. within New Relic and have a hyper view of your site's health. You're not going to have to worry about navigating times and trying to find out when the incident occurred. You're going to get right there. So we think it's really important you create these notification channels. And there's a great variety of notification channels that can be created. Things like Slack, you can integrate with your existing Slack instance. We'll talk about webhooks a little bit later because we're doing some kind of neat stuff with it. But basically, New Relic has the ability to just send a payload anywhere and you can act on that however you may need to. And then, of course, integrating with things like PagerDuty. And I'll have that full list later in the presentation. Now, the other thing I want to mention on the managed alerts is that we ask that you don't modify these, but feel free to replicate. And the big reason we ask you not to modify these is that we are currently reviewing the efficacy of these alerts. So we want to understand, how correct are the thresholds we've set. And then based off of that, information we gather, we're going to change these alerts over time. So, currently there might be a threshold that's set to 70%. Maybe we find that it's more effective at 75 or 65. So the last thing we want to do is, have you change that and then have it, updated to a different threshold. And then again, we may even consider removing an alert entirely if we don't find it's particularly effective. So we don't want you to become reliant on something that we would then either modify or delete. So, again, feel free to open these up, review them, and replicate them to your own alerts configurations, but please don't tweak them. And then just one last note, so alerts can be created in your account after New Relic has been set up for your site. So this is a bit of a critical thing, is that we can't set these alerts up until you've configured New Relic for your production instance. So currently we have a script that configures these about once a week. So if you're not seeing these yet, but you've just set up New Relic on your production site, give it about a week or so, and then you should see those alerts configured for your ability to go in and create notification channels and subscribe to them. Now, these alert conditions all exist under a single alert policy called Managed Alerts for Magento Commerce. Now, some of you may have noticed around this time last year, we soft launched basically the same idea under what we called Adobe generated policies. So this has actually replaced those. So we've migrated any of those alerts that were there previously into this new policy. We've also brought your notification channels across. So if you did happen to notice these before and sign up to them, we've brought your notification channels, so you'll get all of these new alerts that we've created, as well as any changes or additional alerts we create in the future. And that's, of course, one of the benefits of the fact that we have these all under the single policy is that because notification channels apply to a policy, you're going to get any new alerts we push out or any updates automatically without needing any additional action from you or your teams. So like I noted, all of the conditions exist under a single policy. Again, I apologize for the small screenshots, but you'll notice up here it does say 9 alert conditions. We're only seeing 2 on the screen, but this is where all of those alert conditions exist. And again, all future conditions we create will be applied to the same alert policy. Now, to the notification channel point. So this is where you configure a notification channel. So from that same screen within New Relic 1, the alert screen, there's a notification channels button over here on the left. And then over here on the right is where you can select the actual channel type you would like to create. So as I mentioned previously, you'll see Webhook, you'll see PagerDuty. Email is a really great tool to to test these out and get an idea of the information you're going to receive. But obviously, we recommend that you utilize a more active monitoring tool, such as Slack or something like that. Now, like I mentioned previously, I think there's some really neat stuff that we're doing with Webhook. So if you take a look at any of your alert policies, or excuse me, any of your accounts that may have, the Magento Commerce, generated alert policy, what you'll notice is there already is one notification channel applied to it, and that's a Webhook notification channel. And basically, what we're doing there is we're taking that alert data and we're sending that into a New Relic Insights database, and that's what we're using to review the efficacy of these alerts. So we've got dashboards on our own that we are using to review alert counts. We're contrasting those with things internally like Zendesk tickets or outages that our GCC team is creating. And that's how we're making sure that these thresholds are correct. Because the last thing we want to do is be sending you alerts that don't mean anything, right? We don't want to send you an alert just because your utilization spikes, but there's not actually an effect on your site. So we're currently, utilizing this database to review that data and make sure that we have effective thresholds set. Now, this is an example email that you might see from New Relic if you did receive an alert. So what you'll notice is that we get an incident number, like I mentioned earlier. And actually, this is one of the alerts we're currently testing. So this is going to be the Redis memory critical alert. Now, you'll also notice there's this View Incident Details button. So that's going to be that button that's going to take you directly into New Relic to the time frame where the issue occurred. And then you'll be able to actually get a great idea of what's going on your site, or what was going on your site at that time, to help you understand why that alert occurred and to prevent it in the future, or if it's still active, help give you insights on how you can resolve that issue. And then, like I mentioned, all of these alerts and incidents are going to come with a runbook article. So this is going to be a knowledge-based article that we've created and cultivated to give you specific details on how to resolve that issue and hopefully prevent it from occurring in the future. These are the current alerts we have set up. So like I mentioned, we have different thresholds. So all of the warnings are going to be over a period of 30 minutes, whereas all the criticals are going to be over 15 minutes. Obviously, the criticals are going to have higher thresholds, when compared to the warnings, which are going to have slightly lower thresholds, but look over a longer period of time. So just to highlight one, for example, for Apdex, we're looking for a score of less than 0.7 for 30 minutes, whereas for the critical, we're looking for less than 0.4 for over 15 minutes. And another kind of intent to this is so that, these things can kind of flow, right? So the expectation is that, you may be in a warning state, which of course is, asking you to get to your site to look into it and, act on it before it gets to the critical state. So, again, warning is, hey, come check it out. Something's going wrong. It could turn worse. Critical is it did turn worse. And, hopefully you're getting, that warning in advance and hopefully even the critical in advance of your site going down. So to kind of wrap up managed alerts, we're alerting on site health KPIs, key performance indicators. You're going to get a warning to catch in advance of a potential issue, potential systemic issue. But then the critical is going to be hopefully to quickly identify outages, ideally before they occur, but if not, help give you an avenue to understand if an outage has occurred, so that you can work with our teams to troubleshoot those site outage issues. As far as notification channels, please create those. We want to make sure that you have access to receiving those alerts, and notification channels are going to be how you get that. And then one little bit that I wanted to point out as far as what's next for alerts. So the big thing we're looking at internally is getting service-specific alerts. So the goal being not just understanding the health of your infrastructure, but also understanding if particular services are not performing up to speed. So currently we're analyzing some MySQL alerts, to understand, load within MySQL, and if we are, potentially heading towards an issue with MySQL performance, but also Redis. We're also looking at Elasticsearch as well, but those are the two big ones we're hoping to get out before the holiday season. So to conclude the presentation, logs are available in New Relic. That's going to be your system logs, your application logs, and your CDN logs. Please add those logs to dashboards, to help you gain greater insight, but also know that you can use those just to query to, resolve or identify issues historically as well. We've also created alerts to monitor your site health. And then finally, just another reiteration, create notification channels so that you can get those alerts and be aware of the site of your the health of your site. And just one more notification or one more conclusion, please create notification channels. And if you have any feedback for that, please join us in the community engineering channel in the cloud channel. I'll have my personal Slack name up there on the final screen, so you can reach out directly to me. But if you have any feedback, like I said, you're welcome to reach out directly to me on community engineering or in that cloud channel where we've got a lot of developers, product owners, support, all in that channel, ready to get your feedback and give you help with any issues you may have with this or anything else. And then finally, I always like to give a set of helpful links. So again, I will make sure these slides get distributed. I'll put them up on my Twitter, which you'll get the handle for shortly. But just to sort of go through them really quickly, the first one we've got is the managed alerts for Magento Commerce. So this is going to be the landing page for our runbooks within our knowledge base. So you can get some more details about what the alerts are, how to sign up for them, but also go preview the runbooks in case you want to check those out before you have an issue. The New Relic Services. So this is our DevDocs article about everything New Relic on Magento Commerce Cloud, but specifically it's going to give you some information on how to create notification channels, as well as how to sign up for alerts, and also even get some more information about creating alerts if you would like. And then these final three links, these are going to be to give you some more specific information about how to utilize these tools within New Relic. So the first one, creating custom parsing rules. This is that screen that I showed where you can take those structured logs, and break them out and store individual bits of data into customized fields. So this will give you some more information about how you can do that. The next is the introduction to alerts. So again, I really think our alerts are sort of a boilerplate, a starting point to sort of nudge you in a direction. But ultimately, we strongly encourage you to look at creating additional alerts. And this doc within New Relic is going to give you the power to do that. And then finally, notification channels. There's some really powerful stuff that you can do there, particularly with the Webhook notification channel. So this docs article is going to help give you some more detailed information on how you can set those up and talk about all the functionality you have with that. So with that concludes my presentation. I greatly appreciate your time this morning for me. I hope you all had a wonderful conference today. Have a great rest of your afternoon or evening. And again, here's all of my social links. There's my Twitter where, as I said, I'll share these slides out shortly after this presentation. My tag in the Community Engineering Slack is BFG. Those are my initials. And then finally, my LinkedIn, in case you'd like to engage with me there, WI Gilbert. So again, thank you all for your time. And enjoy the rest of the conference. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Billy, for the great presentation. And while we are waiting for the questions in the chat, I have one from my own. If we are talking about the and how New Relic can help us, New Relic was really helpful for me to determine some performance issues as well as the errors. So while we have the notifications and the ability to upscale the environments, if we are talking about the Magento Cloud, are there any other ways to diagnose the performance issues to be ready before the holidays right now? Do you have some hints? I don't know, maybe something about the load testing.
Yeah, so I would always encourage people load testing. Another project that we were super happy about this year is dedicated stagings. So dedicated staging, that you can perform load testing on. So the thing that I would strongly encourage is not only load testing, but also leveraging those existing tools, like New Relic, to understand the impact on your site. One of the things that I think that's really great about New Relic is, it's not just getting, it's not just the infrastructure that we have available, but also all the functionality within APM, right? So within APM, we have the ability to review specific stack traces or look at database queries, look for slow queries and things like that. So again, that's why I think it's so powerful that we have this log information, in that we can combine it with all of the other great stuff that we have within New Relic. So like I said, the transaction stack traces or database query counts and slow queries and things like that. So yeah, I would, like I said, I definitely encourage load testing on your dedicated staging, and then make sure that's hooked up to New Relic so you can actually understand how that load impacted your code base.
So any other questions in the chat? We have 6 minutes for the Q&A. Okay, looks some more time to go to the boot boxes and to the networking section. Thank you again for the presentations. Thanks everyone for joining this session. And the presentation is being recorded and will be available on YouTube after the event. Now, please attend the boot boxes and the networking sessions, and we will have the next section on this track in 10 minutes. Thank you again, Billy. Have a great day.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.